The number of openly LGBTQ adults in the United States has reached an all-time high, with the highest surge coming from Gen Z women who identify as bisexual. Today, we talk all about what's leading this cultural shift and why bisexual women are more accepted in society than bisexual men. The number of openly LGBTQ adults in the US has reached an all-time high of 7.6%, according to a new Gallup poll. Back in 2020, the number was 5.6%, and in 2012, it was just 3.5%.
Wow, so in the last 12 years, 3.5 to 7.5%. I actually thought it would be higher than that.
It probably is higher. Gallup polls are conducted via phone. I'm not sure how many people are sitting around answering their phone.
Oh, this is a grandma poll.
to give information, but Gallup polls are traditionally conducted in a way that's supposed to be representative a sample size of the US. So
why do you think that we're seeing this cultural shift?
This latest increase is because young adults today are more likely to be public about their sexual and gender identity than previous generations. Today, over 22% of Gen Z adults openly identify as LGBTQ, compared to less than 10% of millennials and 2% of baby boomers. Laws are better for Gen Zers than they were for previous generations. Same-sex marriage wasn't even legalized until 2015, so it's been less than a decade. And before 2012, polling data didn't even include sexual orientation or gender identities, which of course also explains some of these increasing numbers.
Did you notice any other trends in the poll?
Interestingly, bisexuality is the most common LGBTQ status among Gen Z, Millennial, and Gen X adults, whereas older generations were less likely to identify as bisexual. Unsurprisingly, women are more likely to identify as bisexual than men because our culture is far more accepting of bisexual women than bisexual men, who are still largely stigmatized.
Oh yeah, I love bisexual women. The majority of the girls that I've dated have been bisexual too.
The over-sexualization of bisexual women is why women are more accepted.
Yeah, it's a double standard probably.
It's a double standard because straight men particularly think that they have a chance to have threesomes with a woman and another woman if she's bisexual. Maybe that will happen, but what's more likely to happen is that your girlfriend may just want to go off on her own with her girlfriend, or her girlfriend may not want to sleep with you as well.
The girl I just started dating is bisexual, and I feel like I've got a little bit of a chance.
Well, maybe she wants to bring another guy home.
Oh, no, not that. No, we're not doing that.
You can have one of each. Male, female, male, female, male, female. Why not?
You can have one of each.
Among Gen Z women, over 20% identify as bisexual, compared to under 7% of Gen Z men.
So even though the majority of the girls I've dated have been bisexual, I don't think I know any guy friends who are openly bisexual.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that there is a lot of biphobia, which is also just a little bit of homophobia, because a lot of heterosexual women would not want to date a bisexual man just because he previously had sexual encounters with men, even if they were going to be in a monogamous relationship with a bisexual man. So that is the double standard, whereas I think, like you said, a lot of heterosexual men are okay with dating bisexual women.
Do you think a lot of bisexual men are just mostly afraid to admit that they're bisexual, though?
I do think that, and I think that also has to even do in the LGBTQ community. For a long time, there has been this stigma about bisexual people in general. There are those ridiculous tropes that being bisexual is the gateway to gay, which maybe for some people it is, but sexuality exists on a spectrum, and it's totally possible that people want to have sex with both men and women. Another reason why I think that more young women are openly identifying as LGBTQ is because we have more rights and freedoms than we've ever had before, which is also why I think some of our rights are slowly being chipped away. It's a little bit of backlash. Women today, they don't have to rely on men for their livelihood. We can vote, we can buy a house, we can get credit cards, have bank accounts, jobs, and have girlfriends and boyfriends. So we are more free to openly express our sexual and identity preferences than we've ever been before, and you better believe these women, they are going for it.
A conservative friend, because I have so many conservative friends for some reason.
You're from Alabama.
Yeah. A conservative friend was like, we're talking about this sort of thing, more rights for gay people and women. He's like, but what do they want? I don't understand what they want. And the question just kind of melted my brain, because it's hard to shift into how they're perceiving this is a attack on them? Like, what do they want? Like they're trying to take away something from them?
No, they're not trying to take anything away. They're just trying to get rights to do what you can do.
Right.
Just expanding rights, just making it more free for everybody.
But he's perceiving it as some kind of angry demands that are harming him in some reason.
Is he worried that like bisexual men are gonna come and steal his girlfriend? Because if he's worried, then he's probably just not a good boyfriend.
Who knows? So I just started doing some background acting and I got cast on a show, 911, which I've never watched before, but I guess it's a network show. And apparently there's been a big stink in the news about it because there's a bisexual man in the show.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't think that people have a problem with that. I mean, it's been like 20 years since Ellen was gay on network TV, so why is this a problem?
I think overwhelmingly the response was pretty positive, but of course you're always going to have those trolls who, as I said before, are completely uncomfortable with the fact that a man having sex with another man is called anything other than gay. And it's interesting because in modern times, this is where we're really seeing the most biphobia. If you look into ancient history, the Romans, the Greeks, even the Japanese, they would celebrate bisexuality, especially among men. That's what most of the historical texts talk about, and even the artwork. It really celebrated bisexuality among men, and in a lot of those cultures was seen as a way for younger men to get some wisdom from older men. They were just sexually open and saw it more as just, I guess, fun and didn't have to put a label on it.
There probably also weren't any ages for underage activity either.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, girls were married off a lot of times before they were even born.
Oh,
yeah, their families would already make pacts with other, families.
Because you would be ready to have a baby as soon as you physically could have a baby.
Yeah. Ugh.
Things weren't all better, but...
They weren't, but in this capacity, it is fascinating that even in hunter-gatherer tribal societies, there were more fluid sexual encounters.
Right. It just shows how like our culture and how we perceive all these different things is just a culture, and the mindset just developed in particular for some reason through a set of events we don't even remember.
Yeah, I think a lot of things with bisexuality started being quantified with Kinsey when he did the Kinsey scale, labeling whether you're heterosexual or any other shade of LGBTQ.
Oh, I've never heard
and
that.
First talking about bisexuality
in
a scientific experiment. Alfred Kinsey was the world's probably first and most famous sexologist. He is somebody who conducted experiments in the 50s to really try to help people learn about human sexuality.
I'm guessing his conclusions were shocking back then in the 50s?
Oh, of course. Talking about but also you're leading into the 60s and there is more free love. And so it was just a time that we really needed somebody like him, and here we are today talking about it in 2024.
So even though I've dated a lot of bisexual women and I'm totally okay with it, how would you feel about dating a bisexual man?
I'd be completely fine with it. If I really, really liked him, I would definitely be fine with it. It wouldn't bother me that he had sex with men in the past. Either we would be currently monogamous and he wouldn't be doing that anymore, or we could have some kind of arrangement where he is free to be with other people and I'm equally free to be with other people as well. So I could do it. Also, I'm a little bit greedy. Okay. Just kidding, everyone. I am actually what is known as demisexual, which means that I can't just be sexually turned on by anybody that I meet. I have to actually have like an emotional connection with them. But theoretically, yes, if I had a bisexual boyfriend and I was equally emotionally attached to someone, a male that he was attached to, then sure, maybe we could have some kind of fun.
Good for you. Good for you.
Me. What do you guys think about this cultural shift? Are you shocked to see that there are more bisexual people? What are your thoughts on bisexuality? Would you date somebody who was bisexual? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching the show. Be sure to subscribe and be sure to follow me, your host, Brigida, and Tyson.